wrestler. It's not very common. If there are Muslim wrestlers, Muslim female wrestlers, a lot of times you'll see them either just wear a singlet and kind of just choose wrestling over their faith, or they'll choose to wear tights. Again, it's their choice. But for me, I choose to adhere to my religion. I try to merge both, so staying strong in my religious beliefs and also doing the sport I love. Challenge in the beginning, I mean, it's still a challenge now, is probably not having drilling partners. So in Islam, we don't have cross contact between men and women that are directly related. So I can wrestle with my dad, I can wrestle with my brother or uncle. But other than that, I don't have any contact with men. And the majority of women, those are their main training partners. So really, my main training partners are only my sisters. My name's Latifah Mcbryde. I'm an African-American Muslim athlete from Buffalo, New York. I wrestle for University of Buffalo's club, Buffalo Wrestling Club. It all started when my dad started wrestling in high school. And college as well. And then my older brother, Muhammad, wrestled when he was younger. And me and my siblings would tag along to practices. And then one day there was another girl there. So the coach asked if my older sister, Jamila, could jump in. So she jumped into the one practice, and that's pretty much how it all began.
I wrestled in high school and college as a teenager, got married and had children, and decided that, I thought they were great sports and wanted my kids to get into wrestling. So started with my son wrestling. I always played wrestling with my daughters, but I never really thought that they would wrestle.
A year after I started wrestling, my sister Latifah and Zaina, they started coming to practice as well. I think mostly when we were younger, it was just messing around, playing around. My dad would coach us, and we would kind of just do what we were told and wrestle.
Quit your job again, and you train us all.
It was pretty fun. I was, for the first couple years, just really there to have fun. So most of the things that I try to do was just try to mimic my sisters, see what they were doing, and try to do it better.
We'd go there in the afternoon for wrestling and jiu-jitsu that my dad would put us through. And then we'd go back for wrestling practice, and we'd stay there until around midnight. We just have a lot of memories there where there's just, and I've probably spent more time in Cobra Wrestling Academy than any other place, maybe including my home.
These coaches locally were actually pressing me to actually fight for the opportunity for my daughters to wrestle. I never thought that they would wrestle. Not because I didn't want them to, but because I didn't think the wrestling community and the sport itself would allow them to wrestle, because I knew that we wouldn't be happy with them wearing a singlet. And here we are today, representing the United States on the world level.
My brother wouldn't have been wrestling if it wasn't for Coach, most know him as Coach Caveman, Coach Jeff Dens. He allowed my brother to wrestle when he was coaching, and that was during 9/11. So he allowed my brother to stay in the room even though the majority of people wanted him out. This young Muslim kid in a room full of white kids, and they didn't feel safe with him there. And Coach Jeff said, no, he's allowed in my wrestling room. My brother Muhammad paved the way for wrestling. He really did, because if he quit wrestling when he walked into that room and was told he had to leave because he was Muslim and it was 9/11, I would not be wrestling right now. I would not be here. And same goes for jiu-jitsu.
In 2020, I'd come across United World Wrestling's website, in which they actually had a listing for associated wrestling styles, one of which is called classic wrestling. Classic wrestling is primarily done in Iran and surrounding countries, and it is essentially freestyle wrestling. All the rules are the same with the exception of two: the dress and the time.
Athletic movement. We're building athletes here. We're building athletes here.
They only have one period of 3 minutes, whereas international freestyle wrestling has 2 periods, 3 minutes each. And they allowed women to wear clothing which adhered to Islamic principles. So the women wore long sleeve spandex with a baggy t-shirt over it that had the UWW insignia on it. Matching pants or long sort of sweatpants or shorts that were long below the knee, and beneath that spandex, headgear over their head covering or hijab, and wrestling shoes and knee pads. And I thought, when I came across this, I said, wow, I never knew such a thing existed. Maybe my daughters could wrestle.
Nobody knows as high as he goes, so blue.
So to compete, generally, the traditional uniform is the singlet. And, I mean, anyone can tell that the singlet is quite revealing. And in Islam, women are to cover their shape, they're to cover their beauty, and that protects them. Not only does it protect them, but we're commanded to cover in our Quran. It's part of our belief system. So for me to compete, sometimes people have a problem when I step on the mat covered. So that's a really big challenge, too.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
My daughters were demonstrating that they had a pretty good skill at it.
Who won?
So at the behest of a local coach, a coach who's the head of the Niagara County Community College wrestling team, Keith Mcbryde, he really pressed me to push for my daughters. I started reaching out to UWW in the end of 2020. In the beginning, I really got no response till I reached out to a gentleman who's part of UWW. He's based in New York City. He's the UWW representative here in the United States. And he got a hold of Cody Bickley at USA Wrestling. We went back and forth in relation to what it was I was looking for, and that I wanted my daughters to have the opportunity to participate in a USA Wrestling sanctioned event, because I didn't just want to show up. And many of these tournaments are far away, and they require, funding and time off from work and school, and in which he was actually in contact with UWW's people in Europe. They agreed that if I could present at these wrestling tournaments locally in the uniform that's used for classic wrestling, I would be allowed. So we did. participate in our first national level USA Wrestling event, which was the UWW World Team Qualifiers in 2021 in Texas. I took my 3 daughters, all 3 of my daughters All-American. And so what All-American means is out of all the people who were there, you place top 8. My daughters not only did top 8, but they were actually all of them placed top 5. In fact, Latifah placed top 5 in 2 categories.
The first year we did okay. We all-American, me and my sisters. This year, we did a little better, placed 2nd.
Score off a bit. And get unable to keep the position.
We thought it was done, you know. We thought we're in. And we've proven that we can wrestle, and that shouldn't be no problem.
And she does. She's going to sink that in. She's going to get the ball. So, Latifah Mcbryde, your winner.
So we were real excited, and we went down, and my 16-year-old placed 3rd. Latifah, the 17-year-old, she placed 2nd. And my 19-year-old placed 8th, I believe.
But with placing 2nd, I had the opportunity to represent the United States of America at the Pan Am Championship.
And we didn't know that the top 2 were actually chosen to travel to represent the United States anywhere. We weren't even wrestling for that. We were just wrestling for the opportunity to wrestle and to win, because isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Wonder again about the feet on your brain, don't you?
And my daughter's telling me, you've got to come with me. And I didn't know why. And then we go over there and we find out, as taking 2nd place, you're going to be the United States representative for the Pan American Games, the games in which the continents of North, Central, and South America send their best wrestlers to compete. We were ecstatic. I was like, wow, I didn't know that this was a possibility. And shortly after getting back to Western New York, I get a call from USA Wrestling again. And they basically told me, you're not going to be able to wrestle. They were very clear, telling me, understand, even if you traveled down there on your own and tried to enter the tournament, you would not be allowed to wrestle. And they wanted me basically to concede the spot, to say, oh, okay, we're sorry. And I told them no. I said, I have to talk to my daughter.
Unfortunately, I couldn't. They wouldn't allow me to wrestle in the Pan Am Championship covered. What they had said was the issue was that it could be potentially dangerous. And there wasn't any proof showing that my uniform was an advantage to me. But anyone who's wrestled knows that if you have a single on someone and they're freshly shaven, maybe even with lotion on, sweaty, that it's really difficult to hold on, rather than if you're going against someone with sweatpants on or leggings, whatever it is, it's really easy to hold on. You have something to grip. So I don't know why they would say that it's an advantage to me when it's not. I get overheated faster, which makes me tired faster. So there's all of these things that go against me with it, and it's my choice to wear it. I'm not being forced to wear this.
I went back to my daughter, and my daughter said, no, I don't see why I should give up the spot. And we're going to keep pressing and fighting for it. So we tried to contact UWW. A petition was started on my daughter's behalf.
witnesses a walls thinking about our body.
Grappling agencies and wrestling coaches who have podcasts reached out to us. We began to, podcast the message out there that we're being denied this opportunity.
They said there wasn't enough proof, even though there's over 30 matches of me and my sisters competing in this.
We never gave up the spot. They denied us the opportunity to wrestle because we wanted to wrestle, and we've proven that we can wrestle in the uniform that people are already wrestling in.
Which we stand. Is the darkness.
Everyone around the world practices in clothing. They don't practice in just a singlet. They practice in sweatpants or shorts, a t-shirt, long sleeves, whatever it is, they practice in clothing. They don't practice in a singlet. So to say that it's dangerous is kind of absurd, because then all of wrestling rooms, teams, practices would have to be shut down because practically everyone wrestles in sweatpants or shorts. No one wears a singlet every single day of practice.
When I arrive, will you come and find me?
So that was the problem, why I couldn't go and represent the United States. So that was the issue, is my uniform. Initially, when they denied me the opportunity to wrestle at the Pan Ams, first it was kind of expected just because of how much my brother went through with the beard in college. So for the NCAA rules, it used to be that men had to shave in order to wrestle. And in Islam, men aren't supposed to shave their beard, and my brother wasn't going to. So he had to fight in order to get those rules changed. So it was expected. He lost some years of eligibility to wrestle, so it wasn't a shock. It was a good motivator. Still have really good workouts that are fueled by motivation from that denial. Now looking back, when I think about if I did wrestle, if I was given the opportunity to wrestle, how much it would have meant to me, and it is saddening, but it is what it is.
The shadows clear when I hear.
So when I went to the Olympic Training Center for the Pan Am camp, almost everyone came up to me and asked, like, oh, how's it going? I signed it, I shared it. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. Pretty much everyone on the team was supportive of me wrestling covered and what we were trying to do, which was really nice. To see that other women wrestlers, everyone on the same level as me was supporting it. So it was really nice.
It obviously was really sad, because seeing her work so hard for so long, and to finally see a Muslimah make it, and to have that Muslimah be my sister, and then for her not to be able to have that opportunity, it was really sad. I mean, we kept training, and she was really determined to just keep training and get stronger and better, but which in most situations people probably wouldn't. They'd probably think oh, that opportunity was taken from me, I might as well give up or something like that. But I felt like it just kept pushing her and fueled her to train harder. And I was kind of in the back corner, all angry, and Latifah, they should have let you wrestle.
Right now, we're still trying to get the opportunity to wrestle. So we're gonna go again next year, God willing, to World Team Trials. Hopefully we'll do better than this year. And we're just gonna keep training, keep getting better. Hopefully with just the next year being able to give them proof that my uniform is an advantage to me, whether it's through them actually allowing me to wrestle for UWW sanctioned tournaments, which I'm not allowed to do presently. We're not giving up. We're going to keep pressing forward to get the rules changed. I want to be able to wrestle just like everyone else. I want to be given that opportunity that everyone else is given. And I earned that. They're not exactly given. Those spots are earned, and I earned my spot on the Pan Am team. So for it to be given to the third place spot, I find is very unfair because I earned that second spot to go to Pan Am. So yeah, it's a little disheartening, but it's just another thing to push through.
Doesn't really feel like this strange.
I don't think anyone should have to wear anything that they are uncomfortable or goes against their moral beliefs. So I think women should be able to wrestle in clothes that are comfortable. They don't have to feel exposed. They don't have to feel objectified.
If I had the opportunity to speak to the people who denied me the opportunity to represent the United States of America at the Pan Ams, I would probably just ask them to use their mind, like really think about the reasoning behind the denial.
Don't you wish we were dreaming?
It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to anyone, really.
Don't you wish that we were just dreaming?
What's really concerning for me about it is that I already spoke to you people in 2021. We already contacted all the people in Switzerland. USA Wrestling, we already spoke to you. You already knew our situation. In 2021, you gave us the permission to wrestle this way. In fact, if we weren't allowed to wrestle, to represent the United States, then the question becomes, well, then how are we allowed to compete for the spot to wrestle and represent the United States?
We've had a ref from Canada. We don't know him, so there is no biases. He doesn't have an opinion on us. He doesn't know us personally. He reviewed all of our matches and ruled out that our uniform is at a disadvantage to us. There's absolutely no advantage on our end. So I wish you guys would just take a look at the proof that's there. Like, I don't know how it's even dangerous, because if our uniform was dangerous, then people wouldn't wrestle in sweatpants, and all of the wrestlers would have broken fingers if that was the case, because that's the argument, that people can break their fingers on our clothing.
To me, it only suggests that it's okay for you to wrestle this way when you lose. But if you're going to win, no, we don't want you to wrestle. That's kind of what the message seems to be to me. But we're here. We're going to wait. We're going to stay on your heels and pester until we get the opportunity to wrestle. Because my daughters really do love wrestling, and it's part of my family. It's part of what we do. It's how we spend. It's how we spend our time. All wrestling families out there know if you've got a wrestling mat in your yard, and you've got a room that's matted up in your house, then any family like that, irrespective of what your religion is, you know that we're serious about wrestling, and that it means a lot to us.